All right, welcome back. Just want to shoot this quick video and give you the latest and greatest update as it relates to the child tax credit. I just did a video. If you want to go ahead and check that out and hear about what's going on for this year, you can check out that video over here, but let me go ahead and get straight into it. So the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act of 2024, this is what's going to include the update on the child tax credit that is still currently in progress right now to become law. If you go on congress.gov, you can actually check the status of it. As of this video, it is still in the introduce stage, and there's still a couple more stages before it actually officially becomes law. And politicians right now, they're actually going ahead and working to try to get this done by January 29th. One of the reasons why that is because that's when the IRS is actually going to go ahead and accept tax returns. So if you haven't filed your taxes yet and you believe that you qualify for the child tax credit, you may want to wait until January 29th to see if they're actually going to go ahead and get this finalized, because you can actually expect an increase in what you're going to be able to receive in the child tax credit. And if you don't qualify for it, then you may not necessarily need to wait. But just again, this is what's going on right now, and there's just a lot of back and forth. So let me go ahead and go straight to what is currently going on with the child tax credits. Like, what are the current limits that they're going to give you, what are the current credits, and then share with you what are going to be the updates if this happens to become law. Currently is going on right now. So for 2023, you're going to get $2,000 per child. Okay, so that's what it's been for 2023, and that's pretty much set in stone. And let's say, hypothetically speaking, you're a family of one, you're going to be able to qualify for that $2,000 if you meet the requirements. I'm going to share the requirements. A lot of people have been asking me about the requirements, so I'm going to share those requirements with you in a moment. If you're a family of two, then you can get up to $4,000, and then there's an additional refundable tax credit that comes along with that, which is going to be $1,600 per child. So with the refundable tax credit, basically what that means is that that portion, if it goes over and beyond what you end up owing in taxes, that's what you're going to get back in a tax refund. So that is actually a little bit more of the sexy tax credit that you can go ahead and get if you qualify for it. I'm going to share with you some of the qualifications in order to be able to do that. So hypothetically speaking, if you happen to qualify for this additional refundable portion of that $1,600, let's say you're a family of two, then you can actually get $3,200 worth of a tax refund if it goes over and beyond what you owe. So that is amazing, and that's why so many people are interested in this topic. So that is currently what's going on, and that's the current situation. So getting into a couple of requirements, a lot of people have been asking me questions whether they qualify for this child tax refund. So I just want to go and share with you directly from the IRS.gov exactly what they're looking for, and then explain to you what those mean, just so you better understand what it means, because some of you may be new parents. You probably had children for a while but may not necessarily understand this. So I want to break this down, make sure we're all on the same page exactly how this works. So number one, the child must be directly related to you as a taxpayer. Relation as it relates to this dependent is going to be your actual biological children, stepchildren, foster children placed by an agency, adopted children, including children placed for adoption, siblings, half siblings, descendants of any of these, which includes grandchildren, nieces, or nephews. So that's number one. Number two, there's a residency test, and basically it's just a test to see whether this child lived with you for more than half of the year, and if they did, then you can go ahead and qualify for the child tax credit. They also make a couple of exceptions for the child. So let's say, for instance, they're going to school, vacation, military service, went to juvenile detention, they're actually still going to qualify that child as living with you during that period to make up for the more than half of year requirement for the residency. Next is going to be citizenship. Citizenship is really important. They're going to be looking at whether the child is a U.S. citizen, a U.S. national citizen, U.S. resident, alien as well, are going to be the three citizenships that's going to be able to qualify. Next, the taxpayer typically has to provide a social security number. That's going to be important to go ahead and file it. There's an exception for that. I'm going to share what that exception is. But generally speaking, social security number is going to be the way to go to be able to qualify for this. And you must be able to have a social security number for each qualifying child. All right, so moving on to the next test is going to be support. Support is going to relate to how much financial support you provided that dependent. It needs to be more than half of the financial support, which is going to be for paying for living expenses, educational expenses, needs to be coming from you as a taxpayer. If they have been able to financially support themselves, then they're not necessarily officially dependent to be able to qualify for the child tax credit. Generally speaking, the child tax credit is going to benefit those who are under a certain income threshold. It's going to be for people who are making less than $200,000. If you're making $200,000 plus, you could still receive the credit. You're just going to receive less of that credit. So if you're a single filer, that's going to be $200,000, and if you're married filing jointly, that's going to be $400,000. And if you're married filing jointly, that's going to be $400,000. One of the resources I recommend you use is IRS Interactive Tax Assistant. You can actually go on irs.gov to be able to utilize that. That's going to allow you to be able to put your information in there, run different scenarios, and it's going to be anonymous as well. So you don't necessarily have to put your information, and they say once you exit that page, that information is going to be deleted, but it's going to allow you to be able to see what credits you qualify for and then what deductions you qualify for as well. So it's a really great tool if you're really curious about whether you fall as it relates to being able to qualify for these different tax deductions and credits. So let's get into what is actually going to change for this tax year. Biden's looking to really push this child tax credit, so I'm going to go ahead and break that down and tell you exactly what that is. So right now they're looking to increase the child tax credit to $1,800 per child. So let's say you're a family of 2, that's going to be a tax credit of $3,600 in tax credits, right? Which is amazing. Also, they're looking to increase this each and every year. So for 2024, it's going to be $1,900, and for 2025, it's going to be $2,000. So let's say you're a single father making $10,000 per year, you're going to actually see that increase from $1,250 to $2,500. And this thing has actually been evolving ever since 1997 when it was first introduced, and it continues to increase. So again, this is really exciting news for those of you who qualify, and it can really make an impact on literally millions of families that qualify for these requirements. In order to be able to qualify and get this tax credit, you have to go ahead and file Form 1040, and then also Schedule 8812 is going to be the form that you need to use. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.